I made $36,000 in one NFT trade. And I talked to somebody in today's video who made 80 ETH overnight in one NFT trade. Yo, it's Bradley Cooper, aka the American Sniper. And today we're talking about, what do you want me to talk about? You want me to talk about sports? You want me to talk about movies? We're gonna be talking about NFTs. Why? We're degens. We like to talk about NFTs. And so I brought on the biggest degens to talk about the craziest, most profitable NFT trades we've ever made. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm giving out whitelist spots for Tooney's Social Club. It's gonna be a free mint, crazy cook up, big artist that hasn't doxed himself yet. Make sure to like and comment on this one. But let's get into the craziest NFT trades we've ever made. Okay, so my biggest jug of the past couple months, the craziest trade I've made was probably this Moonbirds right here. Look at this sexy little Moonbird. So clean. Yeah, so I bought this guy here. Bought him for about 18 ETH, sold for 30 ETH. So this was actually when ETH was still about $3,000, so about 12 ETH profit there. At that time, that was about $36,000 I made, which I made $32,000 in my 9 to 5 last year. So I actually made more than my yearly salary just in this trade than I did all of last year working my 9 to 5. All right, man, what's the craziest trade you've ever made?
So the craziest trade for me, it was probably about a month into the space and Alien Friends launched. I saw the crazy little aliens and just thought, yeah, these are a little bit of me. I'd not really made any money on NFTs. I'd been in sort of crypto space for years and done pretty well off crypto, but just kind of dipping my toes in the water, I guess, really with NFTs. I minted 10 Alien Friends. I can't actually remember the mint price. I'm pretty sure it was like 0.02. So I minted 10 Alien Friends and then I swept another 10. So I just love the art so much. I got my brother in. My brother bought like 15, I think, as well. So I think the buy-in was like 0.02 each and had like, must have had, I think between the two of us, I think we had 35. We were sort of trading together at that time on across two wallets. And we flipped them all between 2 and 4.5 ETH, which was fucking insane. Like, I mean, just sort of set me up, I guess, for life in the space, to be honest with you. I mean, everything that I've managed to like grow and accumulate and get into the position that I'm in now literally all came from that trade. I mean, I'd actually already bought, I'm pretty sure I'd already bought my Macy before then, but around that time, like, it hadn't really appreciated in value or anything. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd spent like a good chunk of money on it. I think it was about 4.75 ETH something at the time. Didn't make like any ETH on that really compared to this, which was just like insane. I was like, oh my God, how can I have just bought something for like 0.02 ETH and fucking however many, like, I can't remember if it was like a month or 2 months later when it actually peaked. All of a sudden, like, these things are just going crazy and we're sat on a bag of them. We're like, what do we do? Like, these are going nuts. Like, obviously a little bit panicking, like, are they gonna keep on going? Are these the next Bored Ape? Being a little naive to the space, like, when do we sell, when don't we sell? And luckily we like timed it like pretty perfectly by pure luck. We didn't really know what we were doing. We just started sort of like lifting and offloading them, I guess, from like 2 ETH all the way up to like 4 ETH and then on the way back down again. And we literally sold them all by 1 each within that window before they like sort of did really start dropping. So yeah, definitely my best trade in the space.
So let me ask you. So most people who are trading NFTs, whether they have 0.5 ETH or 5 ETH in their wallet, they usually just buy one NFT. Are you somebody who likes to, you bought 20 Alien Friends, so are you kind of someone who's like, let's just sweep, we're gonna have some sweeps that are losses and then we're gonna have some sweeps that are wins? Is that kind of your strategy?
Yeah, that's absolutely my strategy. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't back then either, really. That was kind of the first one that I went in on like that. Since that moment, like, I guess, yeah, ever since, really, I'll never buy I'll never buy less than like 3 of anything. I mean, within reason. If it's a big blue chip, obviously, and it's like a fuckload of ETH, then I'm not sweeping mutant apes or anything like that, as much as I'd love to. But yeah, if it's new mint projects, anything under sort of like, I guess, 0.04, 0.05, something like that, I'll like to get like a bag of them so that I can, I guess now I'll sort of like list on the way up and try and take some profits and whatnot. But yeah, like you say, like a lot of them will crash as well and you won't get anything out of them. But the ones that do kick on, take those big profits off those, I guess that's definitely sort of my way of trading now, really.
Yeah, definitely a crazy trade there. Make sure to follow Hydrace on Twitter. He's also launching a project with Jamster, OCB Alpha. Great art, even better alpha. Go check it out. What is the craziest NFT trade you've ever made?
Shit. I probably have 3 different ones because I trade in 2 different ways. I'd say I have my more degen flipping, trying to make a quick buck like in the minutes or hours. And then I have more the ape and mutant flipping that I do. So I would say my three craziest ones, the first one would be moon runners. So I bought 10 moon runners at 0.015, called it in a couple discords and groups I'm in. Long story short, I think it ran about 0.8. I was sweeping all the way up. I had 40 or 50. I sold a ton on the way up too. I was stuck with maybe 10 or 12 left when it dropped down to 0.5, 0.4. I think I made 13, 15 ETH in 24, 30 hours. Runners was insane. But I saw it coming down too, because as soon as we hosted two of the spaces and their team didn't talk or do anything, for me, that was a major turnoff. As like I was buying to invest, I actually thought what they were doing was very cool and innovative, and the PFP traders and stuff. But when the spaces was just howling for 2 hours, I just got out, man. So I think they're still around, they're still cooking, they're still doing shit. But for me, that was a short-term play for sure. Maybe 3 months ago or 4 months ago when Fishy Fam first minted, that's before we had all these super cool tools like nerds and all these refresh tools and sniping tools. So this was manual refreshing, right? So HBA got a bunch of the people on the project I was community manager for whitelisted, and we were trading it. And I actually had two computer screens and my laptop and my phone open. I minted from two wallets. I think I minted like a rank 51 or 53. And this was a time when like everybody was playing reveals. Everybody was sniping top ranks. It was a different meta. And my rank 51 sold for, I want to say 3 to 3.5 ETH, like within seconds of me refreshing on one of my 5 screens or 4 screens. And I turned around and I bought a rank 5 or 6 for like half that price and flipped it maybe 5 or 10 minutes later for like 8 or 9 ETH. I think I made 10 or 12 ETH from 2 trades in Fishy before I saw the other ones in like the first 30 minutes of Fishy Fam revealing. And this is when everyone's literally on OpenSea pressing refresh metadata. I have like 30 tabs open. I'm refreshing. I'm trying to snipe. That was a sweet flip. But I would say where a lot of the money where I've been making in a slow and disciplined way right now, so I would say non-degen, but like calculated, disciplined, solid profits would be just flipping apes. So right now, that whole liquidity problem in the ape ecosystem is definitely slowing down what trading apes is and flipping apes is. But maybe 6 weeks ago, I touched 3 apes in the same day. Like by any means, I don't have crazy ETH. I have one OG ape, so I flip it. I don't get married to it. I flip it. And I had a bunny stun jacket, super dope ape that I listed like 30 ETH above the floor on OpenSea. While I was trying to sell it OTC, I think I listed it at 124.99. I was trying to sell it for 100, and I woke up one morning like 30 DMs, 30 notifications on Discord. It's sold. So I literally turned around like 4 a.m, turned around, bought an ape at 99, I think, which I then woke up actually in the morning and sold it for another 120 something. So I made 40 ETH within like 6 hours while I should have been sleeping. Fucking insane, man. So trading in the ape market is a little bit different. There's a huge culture of flipping, selling, trying to arbitrage the royalties and buying OTC. But those are kind of like the 3 plays where I've made a significant amount of ETH in like 2 days, like just crazy, where it's like, holy shit, that was insane. I want to replicate it, but I can't always replicate it, right? Like sometimes the stars just have to align for those kind of things. But it's changing now. The way that I'm trading and the way the market's trading, those are few and far between, I feel like right now. I mean, today I just was checking Genuine Undead, cranked like crazy. The collection size for sure, meta is changing. I think a lot of 10Ks are not going to be launched 10K anymore. They're going to be launched 5, 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, 5, 5, whatever it's going to be, because there is generally less volume. And that's like a lot of people trying to mint right now. Projects paid 0.02, 0.04, 0.06, whatever it is, and they don't sell out and it just flops, right? Most projects, and I've done the math on it, are actually making more money for themselves in royalties, launching free, creating FOMO, and creating volume. So it's just a different method of trading right now. But those are kind of my 3 big fun ones that I always remember. I'm like, shit, I actually made like money there. Just like doing nothing, man. I'm at home on my phone, right? It's crazy. Like you can be on your phone and you can be making tens of thousands of dollars.
And that type of market navigation is going to be kind of the center point for OCB Alpha, an NFT project you're coming out with along with Hydrays. We're going to talk to him as well. Great art, but even better alpha. So definitely watch out for that. Me and Jamsters, we're locked in, man. Me and you, we're going to be making some more content together, doing some Twitter spaces here and there. Always appreciate you, brother.
Always, man. Yeah, we're excited. It's a cool market to navigate. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think that people get a little bit too excited and try and chase everything all the time. And that's my one comment of advice to people is patience is a virtue. And I really mean that. If you wait for the right plays and you're trying to flip, you can make money. If you chase every single thing that pops up on whatever indicators and volume trackers you're using, you'll likely get burned. So that's what we're doing at OCV, man. We're not going to be calling 10 things a day. We're just meticulous. We're slow, calculated. We look for the right setups and we try and make bread. I mean, we called Infernals yesterday and I went through the wins and loss channel because the Discord's still open and free right now. And I think there's 15 or 20 people who actually already paid off their mint with that free call, which was my goal, right? I wanted some people to be like, oh, this is a little taste of what it is. So we'll see, man. It's exciting. We got a lot on the go. I think that the market's going to always change. And the only way to be ahead of the market is to be fully ingrained in the market. And that means staying up, till 2 in the morning, waking up at 5 in the morning, seeing what's moving, seeing what's not, and trying to make some money.
And having the right people to talk to, bounce ideas off of, that's really important. All right, Haka, what is the craziest trade you've ever made?
Honestly, there's a lot of them, but one that kind of instantly comes to mind just because it was kind of luck was the Killer Bears. With them, I had to leave the house at the time, and my boy kind of dropped the link. They're like, yo, these look lit, and I checked them out. I was like, yo, these are moving, and I remember it was around the Invisible Friends kind of time, so I knew it could move just based on that animated meta, just because like a lot of the animated stuff wasn't really like they would advertise it as that, and these were already like minting, and you could just see that it was animated, and it was a very, very, very low mint price or free mint. I don't remember. I set up my wallets to kind of mint it, and then I hit it, and I had to go. I was literally out the door, so I hit it and I just left, and then I came back, and then I checked my wallet, like the wallet I thought I minted them to, or like a few of them, and then I didn't have nothing on there, so I was like, all right, bro, like whatever. And they were still mooning like from the mint price and all that, so they looked solid, but I thought I didn't mint any until like months later. I go to my other wallets and I see it was a completely different batch because I hadn't used them in a while, and this was in like May that I noticed, and I had like well over like 40 of them, and I think they're around like 0.6 to some around that ballpark. Like, it was like an instant bag, bro. Instantly, it was just like 4. It was more than 4. I can't remember exactly how much, but it was like in that ballpark, and it was crazy to me because I was like, had I known, I would have for sure just taken way more profits very early. I probably wouldn't have had any by the time it was at 1 ETH, but just because I came back to that kind of like bag and just forgot about it, it just shows you like that's where the real money's made. Just going all in and just gambling, I guess, on the team to really make something happen.
Yeah, I also love like you have to leave your house now and you're like quickly trying to mint something type jugs. Like, this is gonna sound super small peanuts, but I remember last August, this is when I still didn't have that much ETH in my bag, and I remember like I was going to the movies with my parents, and there was a project called Animetas. No one's probably heard of it anymore, but I remember I decided to buy like a really high rank for like 0.15, and it kept failing because my internet was being all wacky, and like my parents were like, we need to go, like the movie started, and like finally the transaction went through, and I had to go right into a movie theater, and then like 2.5 hours later I get out of the movie theater, and this is when I'm still early in NFTs. I check my phone, and the floor price had gone from like 0.1 to 0.8, and this is when NFTs were just going nuts, and that's when it first like really clicked for me, like holy shit. And so I hit like the 10x because I sold mine above floor, I think at like 0.1, like 1.2, and that was like an early big crazy trade for me. And it was funny because like I had to like not look at it for like a couple of hours, and then I made that play. So those are always fun when you have to like walk away from your computer, whether it's for 2 hours or 2 months, and completely forgetting you even have the fucking bag in the first place. But yeah, that's certainly crazy. All right, Hasselman, what's the craziest NFT trade you've ever been a part of?
Yo, what's up? So I'm Hasselman, yeah, and it's kind of funny because I came into this space November of last year, right? And so it was kind of like at the end of the bull run, and I was trying to learn things here and there. Lost $1,000. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me actually learn how to do this. And so ever since I think March, I started to kind of get into like actually learning how these plays work, what goes behind projects and things. And it was kind of recent actually that I made, well, not I made, but other people made off of me some of the craziest trades they've ever made. So I'm an alpha caller, right? And I made 3 calls that generated them $6,000 if they were to buy just one NFT. It was the God Hates NFTs that went crazy with an all-time high of 1.8. I called it at pre-mint, did a reinforcement call at around 0.04, and then I did a Saudi's pre-mint call as well. That thing went to fucking 1 ETH, and then Wizards, which was a little bit light, and went to an all-time high of 0.34, right? So in all of these trades. I made absolutely zero ETH. I kind of hate myself for it, but at the same time, I'm grateful. You know, I feel like those calls in which I made was literally what kickstarted my whole kind of career, you could say, and kind of got me expanding into this space. And there's a crazy DM that I got another day, kind of when it was close to the God Hates NFTs hype. This guy sent me a DM. He was like, "Yo, bro, I appreciate you so much. I just made $30,000." I'm like, "Wait, what? How the fuck did you make $30,000?" And this guy literally aped in so hard on God Hates NFTs at 0.04 that he exited at like 1 ETH, 1.2, and he made $30,000. And I'm like, "Oh my god, that's my college tuition right there. Why the hell did I not do that?"
So what is the secret sauce here, though? How do you make crazy trades, or how do you make crazy calls? Are you just calling everything, or what specifically about these projects made them call worthy?
All right. So in the beginning, so like at the start of July, right, when I started this thing, these 3 calls, I was not expecting it to go as high as it did. All right. I did my research. I was like, okay, this project seems nice. The community is there. Cool. But since it was a pre-mint call, there wasn't really any like analysis you could do because they didn't mint yet, correct? So those 3 calls, I could say that it's like I was just kind of going off my intuition and vibe of the project. But like I call like once every other day or something, like depending on what I feel like. For example, I called Genuine Undead at 0.2 because their price action is crazy right now. There's this app, the alpha, by the way. Here's the alpha. There's this app called parsec.finance, right? And you're supposed to pay. You have 10 days free trial. But what I do is I create hella emails, so I basically have 10 days free trials every 10 days. And so this app is really good for you to analyze how the price is going, where you can see that support, the bottom out, and it's kind of simple. You just have to mess with it a little bit. So that app is something that I use for every call that I make, and I'd say that it works 90% of the times, and then the other 10% people kind of clown me. It's all right, you know, it happens. But that's I feel like that's the secret sauce, you know, from the analysis side of things. That app right there is what makes me call things.
What's the craziest trade you've ever made?
Oh man, you know, I've been in this space for over a year now, and it's crazy how fast this space moves. I'm sure you can attest to it. And the name of the game is truly networking. You know, you never know who you're gonna meet when you network. You know, it's crucial to get to know people, get that hands-on experience in the space, because you know when the time comes, we're so early, it's all gonna add up, right? And you know, it's funny, when I first entered the space, you know, I was getting a feel for the minting and all that the beginner stuff, and I hopped in this project called Stack Toads, and I went full blown. I was like,
shit. Yeah.
you remember, right? Ended up dropping 10 ETH on that project. This was when ETH was like, I don't know, maybe 3,500 at the time. So I lost over 10 ETH on that project. It was crazy. And I was like, holy crap. But you know what? Here I am today. And that was a learning curve. So my best advice is don't go full tilt like that, right? But definitely get familiar with the minting and the whole, you know, beginner stuff. And it's just crazy to see how many brilliant minds are in the space.
You're not a real NFT trader until you've had like a true gut punch. You know, I had gut punches, paper handing cyberkongs, like OGs, like tons of shit where it's like I couldn't open my computer for like 3 days or I was gonna vomit type shit. So once you build up that gut, that's how you build up those gains. All right, gang, that's the video for today. Thank you so much to everybody who watches the entire video. I love you guys so much. If you watch the whole video, go down and drop a comment below and be like, yo, I watched the entire video, because that means you're really sniper gang. That means you're really gang. And I appreciate you guys. Pew pew!